This is Mythic Helya for Chosen achievement. This is from a healer point of view. I'm going to make a few mistakes here, so make sure you're paying attention to those and don't repeat them. As a healer, you want to stack with the ranged and the off tank on the red X. The first major mechanic you're going to have to deal with. So after this big breath that gets cast, almost immediately after, you're going to notice a turnaround early. Right when that cast starts is when you want to start moving for that orb. I get hit by the orb a little bit. I'm not targeted by the orbs, so it's okay for me to just, instead of going upstairs, move to the side. I'm going to try to help soak the tentacles that are coming while the melee orb comes. And as a healer, I have to stand with the melee also. Healers have to soak every single corrupted orb slicer. I'm going to help soak these tentacles, but I'm going to have to move immediately for the orb slicer. Again, I'm not targeted, so instead of going upstairs, I'm going to stay down, dispel people, and just spam heals. We have 4 people dead in phase 1 already, so it's going to mean that the rest of the phases are going to go a little bit slower. We're still going to... It's still easy to beat. This is not a DPS check. This is purely a mechanics check. I actually go up to the wrong side. Odd groups, typically in our group, would go to the left, and just in my not used to being on a healer, I go to the right, and then I notice that I am on the wrong side, so I go over to the left side, which can be a bit dangerous, but since we outgear this, we're not going to take a lot of damage. Just make sure if you get Fetid Rot, you're not standing next to anyone. As a healer, there's almost nothing to do in this phase. Even if people mess things up, there's just really no way to mess this phase up as a healer. There's no damage going out. Just make sure when you can, you're helping DPS the tentacles as long as your group isn't ahead of the other group. You're always checking those raid frames on the right. If you notice, those 2 raid frames in the middle are going down at the exact same time, which is how you want it to be happening. Just spam heals. Like you can't run out of mana. The fight is a maximum of 4.5 minutes, and that's if your DPS is a little bit low at this gear eye level. But we kill the top tentacle, then the bottom front, then we go back to the top. Make sure you're just keeping heals on everyone. We're going to help burn down these tentacles evenly, and then right as we kill that one, a Mistwatcher spawns. Make sure you kill that before you go down, otherwise Helya is going to be spamming those wave casts. We deal with the special mobs. Make sure to keep everyone up. If someone doesn't kill a Mistcaller on their side, that's what's causing us to get all these waves right here. So just make sure you're spamming heals on everyone. We want to kill these evenly, and pay attention. As soon as these tentacles die, which we held off for a while, we wanted to hold off for probably another Mistwatcher to spawn, so we wouldn't get it during the phase. As soon as these die, you need to sprint back to the X. So I have an X marked over ahead to remind all the healers in the range that they need to be over there. You want to stack as tight as you can. If a green swirl pushes you back, you have to move. Like right there, there's a green swirl, so we don't want to be on top of the X. We have to back up a little bit. Then immediately after the orb slicer comes up, you want to move when the boss starts casting. You'll notice that I don't have the boss focus targeted, but I recommend that you do. As a healer, I'm standing in the orb, the little purple swirl that's closest to the melee, only because the healers have to stand in the melee orb slicer as well. Here I need to go back to the X. As a healer, you have to move constantly during this phase. You have to go back to the X with the range, so I'm moving back over there. Then as a healer, there's going to be another melee orb slicer, so you got to go back to the moon. So I'm going to move all the way to the moon this time. Here's where I make a mistake in wanting to make sure that everyone's healed up for the next corrupted orb. I'm trying to keep Echo alight on people, so instead of moving right when she casts the breath, I start spam casting, and here I should move right now because she started the cast. I finish off my cast, and instead of moving on time, I move late, and I get killed there. So as a healer, you should not be trying to finish off your cast when she starts that corrupted orb slicer. You need to move right away. But if you are a priest and you do have the legendary cloak, you come back to life and you actually still get to keep the achievement. But do whatever healing you can. Constantly move back between the X and the moon as a healer. Rarely do you get a chance to soak the purple swirls, but when the purple swirls do get soaked, we coordinate cooldowns to make sure that people don't get mind controlled. And that's basically the entire fight from a healer perspective. We get that third breath, but usually you only get that third breath if you're carrying some dead DPS. And again, this is our practice run. But that's the fight. That's Mythic Helya, and good luck on getting your chosen achievement.